If you want to be a goyish tour guide, Michael, George, John, he has a name. Why does he say when you say Ish? So Soloveitchik says, these shadchan, what happened? They met this guy and says, Yosef says, you see my brothers? Oh, your brothers? Absolutely. I heard them talking, they're going down to Dosan. And he says, oh, really? No. They go to Dosan, Yosef goes to Dosan, they throw him in the pit, sell him to the Ishmaelim, comes the prime minister of Egypt. As a result of this, Moshe Rabbeinu finds himself in Egypt, and he is the God of Israel. It wouldn't have been possible without that tour guide, would it? Not possible without the tour guide. So I say, Vayimtzeu Ish, without a name, George Michael, Zok Soloveitchik, because he's going to reappear throughout Jewish history. You will have a strange Ish that will appear in Jewish history. And how will you be able to see him? Get rid of your local zip codes. Look big. And if you look big, what will you see? 100th anniversary Balfour Declaration this year. How did it come about? Anybody know? It came about, let me tell you the story. How do I know it? I didn't know it also. We made a film on Herzl, so we had to do all the research. So I found it. Here's what happened. Herzl had only two support. He didn't have any support from the rich people. Not from Rothschild, not from Hirsch. The Ashirim didn't want to support him. Only the Adiyim. From Russia and from England. In England, they wanted to stop the funding. The British government thought, this guy is crazy. He thinks he's the Messiah. He's going to bring the Jewish people back to Israel. This is not a charity or whatever he's doing. We got to cut out the money for him because this guy can endanger the world. That he wanted to stop the money. So they told Herzl, you got to come to England. So Herzl comes to England. I said, how am I going to fix the problem? He said, you got to get an accountant or a lawyer, just like today. You got a problem? A lawyer, an accountant. So he looked for a lawyer and accountant, but which accountant should he take? You don't know which accountant to take. So they give him a few names, and he takes one guy, Mr. George. And Mr. George, he tells him the problem, and Mr. George fixes the problem with the government. He says, this guy is not a lunatic. This guy, believe me, it's good. It's not. And he fixes it. And then Herzl dies in 1904. And in 1970, the accountant and the lawyer became the Prime Minister of England, Lloyd George. And of course, Lloyd George knew about Zionism because he had a good Rebbe, Theodor Herzl. And as a result of this, Lloyd George brought in Arthur Balfour. And Balfour signed the Balfour Declaration, which is the only legal document on which was based Medinas Yisrael. Vayimtzeu Ish. The Ish remains nameless because he will always appear in Jewish history. The only problem is, if you look in your local zip code, you won't find him there. Vayares Amokom, Merocho. And in that case, you can see we're the 50th anniversary of Yerushalayim, and next year the 70th anniversary of Medinas Yisrael. That's all because V'hoya Hashem Lamelach al kol haaretz, and not in your local zip code.